Okay, let's jump into the last hour. I thank everybody for hanging in. Appreciate it. And I will start through 8, 9, and 10. Um, 10 is where we get to a day at a time. That's our day at a time step in AA. But it's very difficult to live a day at a time and drag the 90s with you. And so the past has to be dealt with so that we're free to live in the now. And steps 8 and 9 are designed specifically to clear up the wreckage of the past to the best that we can without hurting anybody else. And so we're going to take a look in steps 8 and 9 about the past and see what we can do about it. So it says, we made a list of all the people we had harmed, became willing to make amends to them all. And why should we do that? To make them feel better? No. To make us feel better. We're carrying this burden around. There may be a list of people we hope we never run into. And if we do see them on the street, sometimes we go across the street. Maybe there's bill collectors looking for us. Maybe the IRS is looking for us. Maybe there's somebody's house we wrecked that we know we don't want to see. Guess who knows about all this stuff? We do. And we carry it around, which it's part of our burden, is to worry about all these things and how they're not straightened out, and how I hope I never run into those people or those institutions. I hope I never get a letter from the IRS, blah, 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 blah. So it's a burden that we're carrying around, preventing us from living in the now, because we're still worried about a bunch of stuff in the past. So steps 8 and 9 are designed to help us get rid of these burdens so that we can be free to live in the now. So in 8 it says, made a list of all the people we had harmed. What do you mean by harm? What is harm? We can think of the biggest things. I owe the guy $2,000. That's harm. I didn't pay him back. But there's a lot of other harm that we may not have thought about. And Bill calls it in the 12 and 12, instincts in collision. And we talked about instinctual drives before, and this person's trying to go that way, and I'm trying to go this way, and boom, there is this collision. He suggests that we take a look at the 7 deadly sins, pride being number 1, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, sloth, anger, and take a look at those and see where we may have inflicted those on people around us. Then he suggests that we go back and look at what harm can be done. My mind, I'm getting tired, so if I mess up, please bear with me. He looks at such things as gossiping, always having to have our own way, withholding affection from some 2 kids and giving affection to the other 2 kids, withholding sex, gossiping, resenting people. If I had a bad weekend, I resented that the rest of the office came in all happy. So I tried to make them unhappy so it would all be even. So when they told me about their happy weekend, I just glared at them and said, who cares about your happy weekend? And I never thought about that as harm. You know what I mean? I just thought I was trying to level the playing field. I feel awful, everybody ought to feel awful. So you can go around inflicting a resentment on people. Just resent all day long. You're in the dry cleaners getting the cleaning. Make sure they feel a little of your pain. And so as I look at this stuff, I go around as a self-centered person inflicting harm all over the place. The problem with inflicting harm all over the place is it causes other people to behave in a different way than they would have if we had been a nice person. Bill writes about the fact that us alcoholics have the ability to bring out the worst in people. Isn't that exciting? We bring out the worst in people. We keep them off balance. They never know what the hell to do. We're upsetting. We're this, we're that. We're never the same. We're very difficult to be around. So think about that. We bring out the worst in people. So everywhere we go, people are behaving at their worst. And at the end of the day, we come home and we go, man, this world is awful. It's filled with jerks. And we had no idea our contribution to causing the world to be full of jerks. And I've used this story before, but it's a true story. My parents' 50th wedding anniversary was quite a while ago, 10 years, 12 years, something like that. And my sister was planning it, and she's got, at that time, had 23 years in AA. She got, or more than that, she had 20 years. And she was going through the wedding invitations, or the invitations to the anniversary, and she came across one uncle, and she was reading them to me. And I went, oh, no, don't invite him. God almighty, don't invite him. He's so obnoxious, abrasive. It just, Sue, we're trying to have this be a happy event. And she said, he's only like that when you're around. I went, what? Oh, no, he's great. Everybody loves him. He's wonderful. He's just only like that when you're around. Now, if she hadn't been in the program, I don't think I would have believed it. I just went, what? Yeah, you just rub him the wrong way. So I thought about it. I had a month or so before I went up there, and I said, this is a good test of the program. I could run a little experiment on this one. I'm going to pretend that she's right. Okay? I'm going to pretend that he's as wonderful as she says he is. And that's it. So I came there, and he was the first guy that I sought out. And I ran over and I went, Uncle John, I'm so glad to see you. This is so great that you're here at this thing. Do you have any idea how important it is to me that you're here? I figured, I'm going to just be Mr. Charm. He was delightful. He said, well, I'm so glad to be here. And it was like, there was none of this friction. It was all, and so I must have had something that year after year when I saw him, I gave him a look, or he knew I didn't want to see him and he hated that, or who knows how it got started. But it was very interesting to me that happened, that when I changed the way I saw him, he could feel the change. So this eighth step is making the amends is very important to get rid of the burden that we're carrying around. Number two, it's the next right thing to do. So that's another good reason for doing it. But it also teaches us a lot about ourselves. The Bible writes that in the 12 and 12. It's very important to learn out of this step what it is we do that causes disharmony. Because harmony now becomes a word that we want to use. We're now entering a new domain. We're going to forget the past. Self-will run riot. We're going to try to live in harmony. Harmony implies, if you think about music, that there's a master composer who has written a very wonderful score with all kinds of musicians playing the right notes. And when it's all played correctly, it's beautiful because it's all in harmony. But we have to learn all the different notes that have to be played in different situations and what it is to live in harmony with the people around us. Alcoholics, self-centered people, don't know anything about playing all the notes. They only know one note. And that note is me. You know what I mean? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Well, they don't know anything about do, re, la, si, do. But they know me. And that's the note we play. Hi, it's me. Let me tell you about me. And we just keep playing that. And we think if we play it long enough, other people will get in harmony with that note. That's so that was what communication was to me. You're not communicating enough. Okay, I'll tell you more about me. And if I keep telling you about me long enough, maybe you will get in harmony with me. Can't you hear the pitch here? Me. No harmony. And so now I'm coming in here. But since I was writing the score, see, in order to get in harmony, we have to allow the existence of a spiritual score writer. And that's God's will. So I want to get in harmony with that. I'm not writing the score anymore. So I pray, I learn, and this is what I'm learning in here, is that I want to be in harmony rather than get my way. Harmony is much more important than anything else. So there's a great deal to be learned out of this step. Made a list of all people with harm, became willing to make amends to them all. Even if we can't make amends, we want to have the willingness so that when we can find these people, we can make them. Now let me move on before I run totally out of energy. I can feel it's just amazing. It's like having a computer shut off. It's just a blank screen. Okay, ninth step. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. May direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Here's a story about the ninth step that I find amazing. It happened in my own life. It was about 10 years ago. I was living in Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Been sober lots of years. I was sitting around a little townhouse I had on Capitol Hill. Great. It's just a great little life I had going. It was Sunday. I was getting ready to watch the Redskins. I had the Washington Post. I had a breakfast snack. My wife was there, and she was preparing something. It was just a happy day. I had my Sunday afternoon all planned out. I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, from 1955 comes a memory bubble, and the memory bubble says, you remember your buddy Bill Marseille who went through flight school with you? Yeah. Hadn't thought about Bill in 20 plus years. Well, you still owe him $90 for the rent that you borrowed, and then you beat him out of the money because he got transferred somewhere else. And I went, oh, yeah, right, okay. I'm going to have to do something about that, but right now we have the Redskin game coming on, and we have, no, let's do something about it now. Now, it's a Sunday. How the hell am I going to find Bill Marseille? Where am I going to find him? But call the Marine Corps? Headquarters of the Marine Corps isn't open. I don't even know if he retired. I can't find Bill Marseille. I'm going to watch the game. You know, you're not really going to watch the game. And I could tell, here it was. There was this part of me trying to screw up the whole freaking game with some stupid AA step. You know what I mean? It's like, look, there's a time and place for everything. Yeah, well, this is the time and this is the place. So let's get going because you're not going to enjoy the game. Hey, would you come on? I'm trying to read that. I got the bagel here, and he doesn't even remember. Yeah, but you do. Oh, okay, all right. All right, what do I know about him? I know he likes to ski. Yeah, but there's ski places all over the country. Yeah, but Vermont has a lot of skiing. I said, yeah, so Vermont. It could be Idaho. I mean, what do I know, Vermont? Call Vermont and see if there's a William P. Marseille in Vermont. And at that moment I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm calling the operator in Vermont. I ask her if there's a William P. Marseille. If there isn't, the Redskins are on. And it was almost like part of me went along with that. And I said, okay, that's the deal. So I go, hello, information from Vermont. You got a William P. Marseille in Vermont? You do? All right, give me his number. And I got the number. I'm hanging up. I said, he's not going to be home now. Well, call him up. Oh, I know he's not going to be there. Thanks. Hello, Bill? Yes. Oh, hi, Bill. This is Sandy B. How the hell are you, Sandy? I can't believe it. Oh, yeah. How you doing, Bill? Oh, doing fine. He ran a gift shop at a ski resort here in Vermont. Bill, how are things going? Wonderful. We had this reminiscing because we really were pretty big buddies. I said, Bill, I'll tell you why I'm calling. If I told him the truth, I would say, I'm calling you because I'm trying to watch a goddamn football game. But I said, I'm calling you, Bill, because I've been in AA 20-some years, and we have this program of making amends. And Jesus, I don't know why, but today was the first time it dawned on me. When we were down in Pensacola, remember, you and my wife and I, we all partied all the time and this and that, and I always had to borrow money from you as a bachelor, had more money than I did. And I didn't have the rent money. I borrowed $90. And he said, oh, I vaguely remember that. I'm not sure. I said, it's true. Trust me, I owe you the money, and it's been 20 years, so let's say $200 with the interest and all that. I got to get the check in the mail today, Bill. The game is coming on soon. And he said, you got an AA? I said, yeah, I got an AA. It's unbelievable. I went through this whole thing about how happy and how it changed my whole life, blah, blah, blah. And so I mailed the check off, and God, about a month later, I get a box from the gift shop. It must have had $400 worth of stuff in it. It had a little sweater and the wind chimes and all this stuff, and he little note, thanks a lot, good enough. And then he called one time. He said, I'm moving to North Carolina. Here's my number. Let's stay in touch. Boop. I never see him. It just went. So 10 years later, I'm speaking in North Carolina, and a lady comes up during the convention, shake my hand, and she said, you don't know me, but my name is Linda Marseille. Well, that name, I just go, Linda Marseille, are you Bill Marseille's wife? He said, well, I'm his widow. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. What happened? Well, about a year ago, he had a heart attack and died. Part of me is going, well, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? Nothing is questioning. It hasn't dawned on me yet what's going on. And I said, he had a heart attack, really? And then finally I said, well, what are you doing here with an Al-Anon badge? And she said, oh, right after your phone call, when you talked about how exciting AA was, Bill joined AA. He was a terrible alcoholic. And I went, oh my God, I wish we had stayed in touch. And I went through all that. Then I got to look back and see what happened on that Sunday afternoon. And this is the way I see it. God said, it's time for Bill Marseille to sober up. How are we going to do it? Who would he listen to? I know. I'm going to cause this memory bubble to go off in this jerk who's trying to watch the Redskin game on Capitol Hill. Bing! There. That'll take care of that. And bing, bump, 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 bump. So there's the ninth step. So what was going on in that ninth step? A lot more than what we think is going on. You'd be surprised how many times when you make amends and you go in, you think it's just this thing, I'm sorry I was a lousy employee. I know when I worked here, it was just awful, but I'm in AA, I'm trying to do the best that I can, and I just want to come here and tell you face to face that I'm trying to live a much better life than when I used to work for you, and I know I was a really jerk. And the guy said, yeah, you really were, but I think I understood a little bit. By the way, my sister has a terrible drinking problem. What should I do? I mean, so many times, this simple little step where you just think it's, I got to go face somebody, has a much bigger meaning that may not happen for 3 years. And then you get a phone call back from them. You still in AA? Yeah, well, I was wondering if you could do this or you could do that. So it isn't just a question of getting over the embarrassment of walking in and confronting somebody who you think holds you in low esteem already and saying something about the past. It really is the right thing to do. It's what a dignified person does. And I tell new people that when you're getting ready to go make an amend, and here it says we don't crawl before anyone. We are there with great dignity doing what is supposed to be done in a situation like this. And it's suggested that you never go in there alone, that on your way into the ones that you're really dreading, stop in the men's room or the ladies' room, get your little 24-hour, your little AA card with a serenity prayer and a few things, read that, and take your higher power in with you with great dignity. And the secretary comes up and you go, would you tell Mr. Brown that we're here to see him? That is what we should feel like. We're in there doing the exact right thing. It doesn't matter if we get thrown out because he's still resentful. And it also doesn't matter that he pats us all on the back, how wonderful we are to get sober. We know we're not wonderful to get sober. God's doing it. We're simply there because this is how harmony is created. This is how we were meant to live. We were meant to go back and relieve ourselves of this burden so that we can open the channel wider to our higher power and to set the record straight with those that are capable of hearing it. And if they aren't at the time, that's not our problem. No matter what happens, the mission is over. And the last caveat, of course, is we wouldn't do it if it harms someone else. We do not buy our own peace of mind at the expense of someone else. And the example in the book is It's been bothering us all these years that we had an affair about 5 years ago, and just to get it off my chest, I think I'll tell my wife and let her suffer for the next 10 years. This is something that has to be discussed with our sponsors. We have to talk this over. We cannot just willy-nilly go out and play with somebody else's life. And so these are things that are not simple, but we are willing to do this in all circumstances. Home run now. We're on the last step. Step 10. We're finally going to live a day at a time. We're coming up to a plan for how to live one day is contained in the 10th step. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we're wrong, promptly admit it. Does not sound like a total plan for living a day, but if you look in the 12 and 12, it really has some powerful advice to give. My plan for living, I don't know about you all, I didn't really have a plan for living a day. You know what I mean? I just went out and saw what happened. I don't know what the hell's going to happen to me today. It was sort of my attitude. I reminded myself of the balls in the pinball machine. You know how they all sit like on a bar stool down there, 5 of them lined up, and they're all praying that nobody puts a quarter in their machine. Because you know what happens when the quarter's like the alarm going off in the morning. And you go, oh Christ, here we go. I'm going to be up there soon. All of a sudden it's your turn. Your wife's pushing you out the door with her foot. You're up. The plunger comes back and the day begins. Bam, 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 boom, bam, 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 boom. Oh man, you know, it's just you're getting whapped around and bounced all over the place, and all you want to do is get back in that little hole, your favorite bar. Oh man, when is this day going to end? Boom, bam, bam, and you're just coming in, you're just going to go in there, and some guy gets a flipper and sends you back. You start the whole freaking day over again. And then you come back in and you go, oh, you're not going to believe my day. You're not going to believe my day out there. Every once in a while, an amateur is playing. They don't pull it hard enough. Remember that? And the ball goes up. It doesn't touch anything. It just comes down, goes in, and you go, now that's more like it, right? If I had days like that every day, I wouldn't complain. But days aren't, you know. So that was my day. I was like the victim, bouncing around, wondering how much trouble it was going to come my way that day. Now I come in here and they go, well, no. There's a much better plan than that. And here it is. What is the plan? The plan is don't get disturbed. That's the end of the plan. And if you get disturbed, immediately get undisturbed. Okay? That's the plan. Well, what does that accomplish? Everything. That accomplishes everything. That's it. That's your entire goal. Why? Because if I'm undisturbed, it means I have conscious contact with my higher power. If I have that, I don't need anything else. I don't need to be accomplishing anything. I am simply, Chuck Chamberlain in his book, The New Pair of Glasses, said something incredibly powerful. He said, it's not my job to take care of myself. That's God's job. Hello? My job is to do God's will. God will take care of me. That's it. And I'm going, it's not my job to take care of me. What about that sentence, God takes care of those who takes care of themselves? Chuck says, wrong. God helps those that ask. God, this is a total reversal, that my needs will be met from the inside out. And that's what this is saying, staying undisturbed. So if that's the point, if while I'm undisturbed, I am in a position to be in the moment, to be totally in the now. As soon as I'm disturbed, I lose it. I can't be in this wonderful now. You know that great sentence in the beginning of the 24-hour day book, look to this moment, for it holds all of the verities of life, the ancient Sanskrit proverb. This is it, this moment. But in order to be in a moment, we have to be undisturbed. You can't be upset and be in the now. And so this step is showing us how to stay undisturbed and in the now. And what does it say? It says, continue to take personal inventory when we're wrong, promptly admit it. So what is the inventory? Bill talks about there's an axiom in the 10th step. You ever hear that axiom? Those of you may not have read it yet. In the 10th step, listen to this sentence. It doesn't fit in with what I used to think. It says, if something disturbs you, no matter what the cause, there's something wrong with you. Oh, hey, he cut me off. Hey, he lied about me. Hey, he did that. Yep, that's true. And there's something wrong with you. Well, what about them? No. There's something wrong with you. Well, what's wrong with me? You're disturbed. That's what's wrong with you. That's what's wrong with you. You're disturbed. Well, I ought to be disturbed. The guy, he did the blah, blah, blah. No, time out. Forget that. You're disturbed. Okay, I'm disturbed. How would you like to be undisturbed? Not until he apologized. No. How'd you like to be undisturbed? Without him apologizing. How'd you like to be undisturbed? Okay. Okay, I guess that would be okay. I'm not sure. I think it would be okay. Well, why wouldn't it be okay? Well, I guess it would be okay. It just sounds suspicious. Because that's not the way I did things in the past. I always needed to get even first. Then I could get undisturbed. No. How about just getting undisturbed? Okay, all right. I guess technically that would be okay. Technically. Listen to the way we talk to ourselves. We're being offered the deal of a lifetime and we're rejecting it. How would you like to be undisturbed? Well, maybe. I'm not sure. Let me think about it. Come back tomorrow. Old ideas, they don't go away easy. They're all jumping in. Don't get undisturbed. Stay screwed up, but get even. What kind of a plan is that? Oh, it's a rotten plan. What could we call it? How about stupid? Is that a stupid plan? I'm going to stay undisturbed. There it is, in a nutshell. I'm going to be undisturbed. Well, how could I possibly be undisturbed? Well, glad you asked. How'd you like a little 4-point plan? Staying undisturbed. You ready? Ready. Okay. Step 1. Top priority. Self-restraint. You pray for it. What is self-restraint? It is a cushion. Imagine self-restraint as a time cushion around you. Okay? So that when things happen, you have 7 seconds before you have to react to them. Okay? So a guy cuts you off in traffic. Nothing happens in terms of being disturbed for 7 seconds. 1, 2. You know what happened? You go all the way, you're upset, and now you're getting unupset. You see what I'm saying? 7 seconds later, it's almost like nothing happened. 7 seconds, or whatever cushion that we build around us, is I don't have to react immediately to everything that I used to react to. My friend Ed in Washington has a little plan. Before he goes out the door every morning, he lets 5 people be wrong ahead of time. Ahead of time, okay? So it's almost like he's driving to work and he's going, okay, everybody, drive any way you want. It's free day. You're off the hook. Beep, bop, bop, honk, do it. Hey. I'm not into you today. It's free day. So we drive all the way to work undisturbed. We had 20 jerky drivers, but it's free day. We're letting them drive any way they want. So self-restraint. We come to work. The boss says, hey, I read the memo you wrote last night. It sucks.